Morning, Pittsburgh. You're listening to Maximize Living Radio. I'm Dr. Alex Pattison on air with Dr. Aaron Greiner. And as always, this morning, we're here to teach you, to inspire you, and to coach you to your maximize living potential. We're going to be discussing everybody's favorite topic this morning as we enter into the spring and summer's right around the corner. We're going to show you how to lose the weight, how to get fit, and how to get healthy, how to look amazing this time of the year. If you're like me, I know you've got a lot on your plate, maybe with some traveling, with some picnics, as the weather gets a little bit warmer, maybe your clothes get a little bit shorter. We're going to leave no stone unturned this morning as we walk you through the protocols and the procedures that thousands of Pittsburghers have been able to follow in order to lose the weight, in order to get healthy. You can't afford to miss a single second of this morning's program. Just tuning in, you're listening to Maximize Living Radio. That was Dr. Aaron Greiner. I'm Dr. Alex Pattison. This morning we're discussing summer weight loss, something that we've been being almost forced into talking about from feedback from our listeners and from our patients. How do we lose the weight this time of year? How do we get our bodies ready for shorter clothes, for summer trips, for the beach, and for the pool? We're going to leave no stone unturned, not only this morning, but that event that Dr. Aaron was just discussing about. I'll give you some details on that in a few moments. But over the last couple of days, my heart has been breaking. In fact, just before I came in to do the show this morning, I always stop into Starbucks and get myself a water and some tea. And the lady that was in front of me had ordered a Trenta, which I believe is somewhere near 30 ounces, low-fat caramel macchiato. And obviously, an individual would order a low-fat food or a low-fat drink if they are looking to lose weight. But the problem that has been force-fed into Pittsburghers' minds and has been force-fed into Americans' minds is that low-fat equates to weight loss. But what we don't realize is that when we start cutting out the fat, we start adding in the chemicals. Another issue that I had just the other day, so this poor lady has been misinformed, and unfortunately by drinking this, not only is she going to not lose the weight, she's probably going to put more on. But just the other day, on Facebook, I had posted a recipe of mine that had called for organic free-range pastured eggs. If you haven't liked myself, Dr. Alex Pattison, or Dr. Aaron Greiner on Facebook yet, I would encourage you to do that. There's tons of recipes. We put new content up there 2 to 3 times a day. So if you're listening on your computer right now, if you have your smartphone, make sure you like those pages. It's just a ton of great information that's on there, as well as past radio shows you have the opportunity to get plugged into. But anyways, a guy had come back to me, had posted that there is no difference, nutritionally speaking, between organic food and between inorganic food. He believes that this is a lie that's been perpetrated on the American public, and maybe you yourself has been thinking that as well, or you don't feel that the cost that you would pay for those organic foods is going to outweigh the savings that you would have by buying conventional foods. And I can follow a lot of your thought process there. Unfortunately, it's incorrect, and I'll get to that in a moment. But then he had also mentioned he had posted what he had eaten that day, and he had gone through, and it was a pretty good list. But I thought it was interesting that he had made a point to note that the peanuts that he snacked on were unsalted. Okay, so essentially what I gathered from this information is that he is afraid of the chemical sodium chloride, but he's not afraid of the chemical glyphosate, which is used in conventionally raised unorganic foods. The problem with glyphosate is that it's banned in most other countries. The European Union doesn't allow this stuff to be used on their foods because of what it does as a toxin. And not only does it increase the toxic burden of the foods that we're consuming that are sprayed with this, we also know that the foods that are treated with this chemical lack the nutrients of organic food. There's less nutritional value in there. And then to make matters even worse, it actually competes with nutrient absorption inside of the body, which means that it robs the body of the nutrients that would be in that conventionally raised, sprayed, pesticide-laden food. Now, many researchers now and scientific studies are showing a strong correlation between chronic degenerative illnesses and the increased consumption of inorganic, conventionally raised food. Some of those are autism in children, gastrointestinal diseases like inflammatory bowel, which I'll get to specifically in a moment, obesity, which is, I think, a big one for this morning's show. You have a hard time losing weight if you're not consuming organic food, allergies, cardiovascular disease, depression. It actually affects brain chemistry, cancer, infertility in young people that are trying to become pregnant. A lot of these issues affect the reproductive issues. issues, Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's in the elderly, multiple sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's disease, and just so many other diseases are associated with the consumptions of these chemicals. I want you to think about this. So this guy, he obviously wanted to find his peanuts that had no salt or sodium chloride on that because he understands the research that has showed by consuming too much table salt can lead to cardiovascular disease and obesity, and certainly it does. But unfortunately, he's either been force-fed false information about the harmful effects of conventionally raised food, or he just doesn't believe or doesn't understand that if I was to walk up to his salad, let's say, that he's about to consume for lunch and spray it with a bunch of Roundup, let that soak in overnight, and then even the next day, if we were to wash all of that Roundup off and say, all right, would you like to eat the salad that was pulled out of my garden that none of these chemicals were on, or the one that was bathed in these chemicals yesterday, what are you going to choose? And I think that in that instance, in that scenario, he's obviously going to choose the vegetables that were pulled out of my yard. And one of the issues that we have as Americans is that we are no longer intimately connected with our food. We go to the supermarket and we buy it. We have no idea what happened to get it to that point. But when we begin to look at our food this way, of chemicals and Roundup sprayed on our food the day before, we seeing that happen, I think most of us would choose the food that didn't have those chemicals on it. And when it comes to weight loss, I think that this is one of the big problems that we as Pittsburghers have, is that we don't have that close, intimate relationship with our food. Now, does that mean that I'm going to tell you to, start tilling the backyard and putting and growing all your own organic vegetables? No. We're going to start giving you some insights on how to understand your food, how to understand your metabolism, and give you some keys, some steps, some proven effective means that Pittsburghers have been able to implement, thousands of Pittsburghers that we've mentored and coached to lose the weight in order to get healthy, to look better in that bathing suit this time of year. So if you don't really understand the difference between organic and inorganic, if you've bought into low-fat things in the past and you never really focus on the chemicals inside of your food, if you have a hard time losing weight, if you feel tired, fatigued, and groggy, we're going to show you how to naturally turn on your metabolism. Now listen, this is gimmick-free. We're not going to sell you something, or we're not going to push a product on you that may have you lose some weight in the short term, but make it impossible long term in order to keep that off. The reason why our radio show has been successful for the last 4 years running, the reason why our clinics have been successful for so long, is because what we give you works. Tried and true principles that allow an individual to not only lose the weight quickly and effectively, but keep that weight off because they've gone through the protocols, they've gone through the understanding, they have the knowledge in order to keep that metabolism high and that weight coming off. And I like where you went with that, Dr. Aaron, and I just want to continue with some great stories this morning, success stories of individuals that have been through these programs, gone through our protocols, and have lost the weight in order to be successful, because I know that we probably have a few of our listeners out there that are listening like, yeah, that worked for Sally or Bill or for James, but that's not going to work for me. What I need you to understand is that those people who come in to see us at this event, oftentimes they've done everything. They've had the meals delivered. They've gone and got weighed in. They've tried all of the crazy this, that, or the other to lose the weight, and maybe did a little bit in the past, but then hit a plateau or got stuck and put it all back on. But those individuals, these success stories that we're sharing with you this morning, are people that not only lost the weight and brought their health back, but were able to maintain that for years upon years upon years. Let me tell you about Mary. And this is what she wrote to us. I was neglecting my health. I wasn't exercising and living on fast food, ice cream, pasta, and bread. I heard Dr. Alex and Dr. Aaron on the radio and attended one of Dr. Alex's nutrition lectures, hoping to find the magic method in order to lose weight. I lost 25 pounds in 2 months. I love my new way of eating. I love not craving sugar all day long. No calories to count, just eating good, whole, healthy foods. I will never go back to eating empty processed foods again. I was able to avoid going on medication, even though my cholesterol readings were at 273. They're down to 204 with diet alone. My blood pressure has gone down along with that. James was struggling with weight loss, was struggling with fatigue and energy, lost 7 17 pounds in 1 month. How about Sandy? Over a year time frame of following our protocols, was able to lose 60 pounds. I want you to imagine your life right now. If you're struggling with your weight, if you're overweight, if you're obese, what a difference of 60 pounds down and then being able to maintain that weight loss year after year after year is going to do for you and your life. And how about Sarah, a young lady who was able to lose 30 pounds in just a little over a month by following our protocols? The one thing that all of these successful people had as they joined us for one of our events, and we want to give you the opportunity to join us for our summer slim down weight loss event coming up at 2 locations at 2 different times right here in the city. Here's the details. Sunday, May 21st in Cranberry Township. That's a Sunday. This is a brunch event at 1 o'clock in the Sports Grill. That'll be hosted by Dr. Aaron. That date, that time, that location doesn't work for you, no worries, because myself and my team personally are going to be hosting one in the South Hills on June 5th at 6:30 p.m. at Gianna Villa's Family Restaurant. So not only are we going to give you a nice healthy meal, but you're also going to get that information on how to lose the weight. Hey, God bless. If you want maximized living in your church, we'll discuss how to make your congregation one of the healthiest in the city.